Of SMG32. What? Oh, today we are going to be doing the Future of the World episode.
No.
I forgot. Episode 2. Okay. So first of all, Sweden tries to invade Finland and also Norway. They're trying to bring back Scandinavia. Well, battle Scandinavia. They take the islands up here, and then they start surrounding the capital. But the gods there were really fighting, so they couldn't take it yet. And then they started landing in Denmark. And then the first troops were seen in Iceland, and they took that over like really easy. But Greenland was a little different. They struggled in it because of Denmark and because of the cold. I mean, I get they're used to the cold, but Greenland is really cold, so I'm just going to say they struggled taking it over. So that was the war right now. That was how this part fell immediately since it's super thin and hard to defend, but yeah. Anyway, back in this war, Russia keeps on pushing through China. And then he starts sending troops to North Korea to attack South Korea and Japan. And then finally USA joins. I don't remember if I said that in the last video, if USA already joined, but he joined. So eventually North Korea starts pushing back South Korea again. But then Japan sends more troops to South Korea. So they managed to push back a little bit, but not by much. They're really gone. Meanwhile, in Taiwan, this is my perfect chance to make the Taiwanese Empire. I mean, the original Chinese. China. So then Taiwan declared war on Japan, USA, and China. Yes, he declared war on USA. You heard me right. And then he also started landing in the Philippines to make the Taiwanese Empire. So yeah. So they took a lot of their islands, but they weren't. I don't really know where their capital is. I'm just gonna say it's somewhere in this island, like the bottom one. But yeah. And then eventually they started pushing back through China. Eventually China surrenders. I'll do the borders when I'm done with this war. So that's really bad news for South Korea and Japan and USA. But luckily,
I want to be the good guy.
Can't. Sorry guys, that was just cool. Anyway. But luckily, USA has sent a ship from Alaska and managed to take this little peninsula here. And then they started moving down through the Panhandle, or whatever it's called. Eventually, they sent a ship here to invade this island, and then they sent a ship also down to South Korea, so that South Korea could start fighting back. Before long, Russia knew that USA was invading it, so they pushed them back immediately. They took the island immediately. I know, I'm making Russia a little OP, but this is kind of what would actually happen if in real life it did. And because USA probably wouldn't send that much soldiers there, they managed to wipe them out completely. So then they were back to the regular border, but then eventually they decided to sign a peace treaty. So then North Korea would get all of South Korea. Dang it. Russia would get some land in Japan. And Russia would also get Alaska. And a lot of China.
Liam.
What?
No.
Okay. And yeah, he would also get Alaska. So 1 second, let me show you everything when it's. So yeah, these are the new borders. Russia would get a lot out of China, and Taiwan would be the new China, technically. Oh, I forgot they're the same color as Vietnam. But then they invade Vietnam. And I also just gave Mongolia to them, because why not? Yes, the borders are kind of bad with these guys, but it's the best I could come up with. Oh, right, translate. Okay, I forgot to give this back to North Korea. There. Oh yeah, and North Korea would get the west of Japan. So yeah. Wait, let me just check this is North Korea. Yep, okay. So yeah, they came out on top, and yeah. Now India has a new threat to deal with. Taiwan, Russia, and North Korea. And maybe even Australia, if they'll... And Pakistan, I mean. Definitely Pakistan. I mean, it's always been their enemy. Anyway, back in Europe, Russia decides to invade Finland, too. And he just really takes the west of it. First, he blocks the border with Sweden and Finland, so they can't... So Sweden can't invade anymore of Finland because he wants the west. And he also takes this island from him. I mean, yeah. Just for fun. Meanwhile, back in Ukraine, this will offend maybe a lot of people, but this is just for fun, not for offending. Russia declares war on Ukraine. They took Crimea immediately because their troops were already there, pretty much. So then they started pushing through. Eventually they started pushing down to get their other capital, Lviv, or whatever it's called. They surrounded it. Eventually Poland decided to join this war. Again, another major war. So then they started pushing through. And then they said, this is your land, Ukraine, take it. So then they managed to push back the Russian troops from Lviv. And then Poland started moving through. Russia was not prepared for this, so Poland kept on going and going and going. Of course, there was still troops in Finland, though, so they sent them down to attack Poland, but then they were in a blockade. But this is Russia we're talking about, so Russia kept on moving through Ukraine. And Poland couldn't support, they also invaded Moldova. And Poland couldn't support Ukraine down there. I mean, he was sending troops with all his might, but they weren't doing anything. So Russia's plan was to and then they took one of their capitals. But Russia's plan was just to keep moving on in until we closed them out. And then came the blockade. So then they started pushing back, and then all that was left of Ukraine was Lviv. That war can continue later. Anyway. You know what, I just noticed, if you combine Serbia and North Macedonia, you could make the Serbia from World War II. Hey, North Macedonia, I know we've just had a war, but I kind of want to unite so we can make Old Serbia again. Want to do it? Fine. So then they united. And boom, that's Old Serbia. Meanwhile, back in Bulgaria, I'm going to let Romania have his lands back, because I don't really know what to do with these. Thank you. No problem. Actually, I kind of do too. Romania wasn't really involved in the war. Thank you. But then Hungary was like, my perfect chance. What the heck, Hungary? It's the only way to get my land back. Oh my god. So then old Romania came back. So it makes you think that I'm making a World War One map, but I'm really not. Cause look up here. Look up here. Look at France. Look at Africa. I mean, Russia and the Japanese war. That's kind of accurate of World War. I mean, before World War One, and this is all happening. But still. I mean, Soviet trying to take over. That was kind of like the Balkan War. But still, no, that's not what's happening. One last war. It is USA invades Mexico. Since he lost the Second Korean War, he needed really to strengthen up his army. And he did just that. And then he noticed he really overdid it. So he decided to invade Mexico with all his leftovers. And let me tell you, he had lots and lots of leftovers. The Mexican army didn't even stand a chance. So then they all retreated and sent their troops all the way down to Mexico City. Where was it? Right here. So all the troops were in this tiny spot right here. Meanwhile, the USA kept on pushing down. Eventually, he managed to get close to Mexico City and surround it. Meanwhile, he kept on pushing through here and surrounded all of these people. I mean, he just did this for fun since he really hated Mexico. And so, yeah. Meanwhile, he kept on pushing until all that was left was Mexico City. And then they took it. So now Mexico is owned by USA. He also decided to take Belize and Guatemala. And whatever that place is called. Anyway, so yeah, that's the end of The Future of the World, episode 2. If you enjoyed it, this one had way more wars and probably be more popular than the second one. I mean, I hope it is. Thank you. Oh wait, one more war. I forgot. USA lands in Portugal, taking Lisbon immediately, and Portugal surrenders. Oh, and he also...
I'm going to play a different one. Not this one.
1 second, Cole. So, yeah. That was it. Bye.